channel specific to UK residential architecture. This video is setting up a site location plan which is required on every single plan application. So it's filmed in real time, so excuse my mumbling, but hopefully this will prove useful to anyone looking to use ArchiCAD for residential projects. If you've got any specific queries related to this, then drop a comment, get in touch, and I'll see if I can help. In this video I'm going to be setting up a Ordnance Survey site plan for a UK domestic project. Starting with my new template. I've downloaded a DWG file of the Ordnance Survey data from ProMap, which I've got on disk, and I always start with these in worksheets with a simple 2D document. So I right click, create a new independent worksheet, and I'm going to call this OS01 Ordnance Survey Data. In fact, no, I'll call it Site Location Plan. Enter. That brings us onto a worksheet. I'm going to go File, Interoperability, Merge from File. The file I've got is in my projects directory here in ProMap, and there it is, DWG file. Open, merge content and model space into current view. OK. Skip all the SHX files. And specify the insertion point on screen. I'm going to leave the scale as it is for now and leave everything as it is. Keep it simple. And then we'll click on merge and just pick a point on the screen. Leave the layers all as they are from ProMap, which is quite good because it gives you this PM prefix, so you can identify the layers when you come to work on the data. Okay. If I zoom extents now, we get that. If we change the renovation filter to plan status, that's how ProMap intended it for us to see the data. Now if I type M for measure and measure these grids here, they're measuring 50 meters. I want to be in millimeters. I work in millimeters. So if I just grab the whole lot and press Control K, which brings up the scale transform box. I don't want to define it graphically. I want to scale it up by 1000 to get into millimeters. Click OK, and then pick on a point, and there we are. It scales it up by 1000. Zoom extends again. It all appears as it should do. But if I change the scale to 1 to 1250, which is what I want this to be, the site location plan, the text will go huge. If I click on one of these text elements, you can see that that's scaled up too, and that text is 1000 millimeters tall. A little tip here, if you click on the text tool and press Control A, it selects all the text in the project, just the text, nothing else. I can then change that text height to 2 millimeters, enter. And if I go back to zoom extents, or rather zoom into the site plan, you can see the text is back at a suitable scale. Another thing, particularly in my setup, and my pen setup is pretty much as per the default ArchiCAD setup, these lines here come in colour number 141, which actually, yeah, we have set up as 1 millimeter thick, so they come out huge. So what I do very quickly is I click on that line, I turn off others layer, all the other layers, which just brings me with that, leaves me with that. I can then select all that and change that just to a black. On the subject of layers, this would be on this site layer state. So if I click on site layer state, everything's gone. Bringing up the layer command box with Control L, that brings up this box here, and on site you will see that in that layer state for site, all of the PM layers, Pro Map, are turned off by default. So if I click the first one, scroll down to the last one for Pro Map, and hold down the Shift key, turn them on, update the layer state, click OK, and everything's back. Although that's not quite right because it seemed to miss some at the bottom. Yeah, miss some there. So click, Shift, click, turn them on, update the layer state, and everything's back. So this is now what I want to see. We're on the layers, the layer state is under site, the scale is 1:1250. If I go to right click somewhere away from the entities, away from the entities, I get the option to save the view and place on the layout. Just clicking that brings it straight onto a layout and allows me to plonk that onto a sheet. Now this particular sheet, it's by default put it onto an A1 landscape sheet. I'm going to change this to an A3, so right click on there, layout, go to layout settings, and I'll change this to an A3. I've got all these different sheets set up for different clients I work with. My own sheets are prefixed with AX, Archimetrics. So AX, A3 landscape, and I'm going to call this site location plan. So there's our A3 sheet. You can see at the moment that the drawing is bigger than the sheet. If I click that and just click anywhere, I can drag that around. But if I hold the edges and hold the mouse key down, the mouse button down, you get this pop-up box. And this tool here is a really useful one, just for stretching any entity, including drawings, and just bring the borders in to the size that you want. Click away from the drawing, and then click it again, and you can drag it to where you want in the page. So there's our site location plan set up on an A3 sheet. Final little tweaks that I do, I change the title, text style and colour to black. Help if I pick the right one. Title, black. Okay, that's that. And of course the planners will want a north point, so we can go to object, click on the object box, which brings up this box. This is all the ArchiCAD library of all the different various bits, but it's so easy just to click in the search and type in north. There's the north point. Several variations of north points. Clicking in here gives you all different styles. I quite like this one. Click OK. Place. Click on the arrow. Give that a bit of a drag down here. And I want this to be the first drawing in my set, so I'm going to just drag that to the top of my set, and that will be A01. And if I right click and click on book settings, this is the start of the existing set of drawings for this site. In my existing plans I prefix with E. I like the drawing number style to be 01, 02, etc., which is by default. Click OK, and now you'll see my drawing set is E01, 02, 03, 04, etc. Just to be tidy, I can right click on these other sheets that aren't used and delete them. There we have it, the site location plan. Final things I do on this is to change this to grayscale. So I click on the drawing, click on the properties of the drawing, brings up this box. Size and appearance, colours defined by pen set. Now in this case I want them to be grayscale, so I'll click on grayscale, OK, and my drawing goes into grayscale. I can then redline it from here, so I'll zoom in a bit, I'll get a line, and the colour will be, I've got this default red set up which is 1mm thick, and there'll be a linked continuous line, and I'll just draw around the site plan. I can be a little bit rough with this because the size of the line being 1mm thick will forgive any errors. Ordinarily I'd take my time and do this precisely, but for the purpose of this video I'll whiz around and close the line off there, and there's our red line. Zoom back out, save the file, and away we go.